Here are 100 definitions related to supply chain management, spanning various concepts, terms, and principles. These definitions are commonly used in the field and can help you understand the breadth of supply chain management. Supply chain, the entire network of entities, directly or indirectly interlinked and interdependent in serving the same consumer or customer. Supply chain management, SCM, the management of the flow of goods and services, which includes all processes that transform raw materials into final products. Logistics, the detailed coordination of complex operations involving people, facilities, and supplies. Distribution, the process of making a product or service available for the consumer or business user who needs it. Procurement, the process of obtaining goods and services from external sources. Inventory management, the supervision of non-capitalized assets, inventory, and stock items. Demand forecasting, the process of making estimations about future customer demand using historical data and other information. Just-in-time, JIT, an inventory management strategy that aligns raw material orders from suppliers directly with production schedules. Lead time, the amount of time that elapses between when a process starts and when it is completed. Supplier relationship management, SRM, the discipline of strategically planning for and managing all interactions with third-party organizations that supply goods and/or services. Supply chain visibility, the ability to track products as they move through the supply chain. Third-party logistics, 3PL, the use of third-party businesses to outsource elements of a company's distribution and fulfillment services. Fourth-party logistics, 4PL, a model where a business outsources the management of its entire supply chain to another company. Cross-docking, a practice in logistics of unloading materials from an incoming truck and loading them directly onto outbound trucks. Reverse logistics, the process of moving goods from their final destination for the purpose of capturing value or proper disposal. Electronic data interchange, EDI, the computer-to-computer exchange of business documents in a standard electronic format between business partners. Material requirements planning, MRP, a system for calculating the materials and components needed to manufacture a product. Enterprise resource planning, ERP, business process management software that allows an organization to use a system of integrated applications to manage the business. Order fulfillment, the complete process from point of sales inquiry to delivery of a product to the customer. Supply chain network design, the process of building and modeling a supply chain to understand the costs and time required to bring products to market. Bullwhip effect, the phenomenon in supply chains where orders to the supplier tend to have larger variance than sales to the buyer. Vendor-managed inventory, VMI, a family of business models in which the buyer of a product provides certain information to a supplier of that product, and the supplier takes full responsibility for maintaining an agreed inventory. Consignment inventory, inventory that is in the possession of the customer but remains the property of the supplier. Freight forwarder, an agent who acts on behalf of importers, exporters, or other companies to organize the safe, efficient, and cost-effective transportation of goods. Cold chain, a temperature-controlled supply chain. Warehouse management system, WMS, software and processes that allow organizations to control and administer warehouse operations. Capacity planning, the process of determining the production capacity needed by an organization to meet changing demands for its products. Total cost of ownership, TCO, the purchase price of an asset plus the costs of operation. Kitting, the process in warehouse management where individual items are grouped or packaged together to create a single, ready-to-ship package. Bill of materials, MOM, a comprehensive list of raw materials, components, and assemblies required to build a product. Supply chain resilience, the ability of a supply chain to both resist disruptions and recover operational capability after disruptions occur. Dropshipping, a retail fulfillment method where a store doesn't keep the products it sells in stock. Instead, it purchases the item from a third party and has it shipped directly to the customer. Freight audit, the process of examining, adjusting, and verifying freight bills for accuracy. Inbound logistics, the process of receiving, storing, and distributing raw materials for use in production. Outbound logistics, the process related to the storage and movement of the final product and the related information flows from the end of the production line to the end user. Sustainability in supply chain, the integration of sustainable environmental practices into supply chain management. Advanced planning and scheduling, APS, systems that coordinate and synchronize supply chain operations from demand planning through supply chain execution. Global supply chain, the worldwide network of suppliers, manufacturers, warehouses, distribution centers, and retailers. Kanban, a scheduling system for lean manufacturing and just-in-time manufacturing. Radio frequency identification, RFID, a technology that uses electromagnetic fields to automatically identify and track tags attached to objects. Supply chain optimization, the application of processes and tools to ensure the optimal operation of a manufacturing and distribution supply chain. Batch tracking, the process of tracking the production, usage, and location of batches of products throughout the supply chain. Dual sourcing, the practice of using two suppliers for a given component or product. Economic order quantity, EOQ, the optimal order quantity that minimizes the total holding costs and ordering costs. Safety stock, a quantity of stock that is maintained to mitigate the risk of stockouts. Supply chain agility, the ability of a supply chain to rapidly respond to changes in demand, supply, and market conditions. Vendor managed inventory, VMI, an inventory management system where the supplier is responsible for maintaining the inventory levels of the buyer. Logistics management, the part of supply chain management that plans, implements, and controls the efficient flow and storage of goods, services, and related information. Inventory turnover, a ratio showing how many times a company's inventory is sold and replaced over a period. Back order, an order for a product that is temporarily out of stock. Pipeline inventory, inventory that is in transit between suppliers and customers. Supply chain collaboration, working together with supply chain partners to achieve common objectives. Lead logistics provider, LLP, a company that manages all or most of another company's logistics functions. Customs brokerage, the facilitation of the import and export of goods across borders. Landed cost, the total cost of a product once it has arrived at a buyer's doorstep. It includes the purchase price, shipping, insurance, and other costs. Demand planning, the process of forecasting future customer demand to optimize supply chain processes. Order cycle time, the time it takes from when a customer places an order until the order is received. Cycle counting, an inventory auditing procedure where a small subset of inventory is counted on any given day. Slotting, the process of organizing products within a warehouse to maximize efficiency and space utilization. Inventory carrying cost, the total cost of holding inventory, including storage, insurance, and taxes. Backhaul, the return trip of a transportation vehicle from its original destination to its point of origin, especially when carrying goods for a second customer. Incoterms, a series of predefined commercial terms published by the International Chamber of Commerce related to international commercial law. Cross-border logistics, the process of managing and overseeing the movement of goods across international borders. Consolidation, the process of combining multiple smaller shipments into a larger one to improve transportation efficiency. Hazardous materials, HAZMAT, substances that pose a risk to health, property, or the environment. Carbon footprint in supply chain, the total amount of carbon dioxide emissions produced by a company's supply chain activities. Multimodal transport, the transportation of goods under a single contract, but performed with at least two different means of transport. Sourcing strategy, the approach a company uses to source its raw materials, components, and services. Blockchain in supply chain, the use of blockchain technology to enhance transparency, traceability, and security in supply chains. Decoupling point, the point in the supply chain where inventory is held as a buffer between differing lead times. Service level agreement, SLA, a contract between a service provider and a customer that outlines the expected level of service. Total quality management, TQM, an approach to long-term success through customer satisfaction. Freight density, the weight of a shipment divided by its volume. ABC analysis, an inventory categorization method that divides items into three categories: A, most valuable, B, moderately valuable, and C, least valuable. Order processing, the workflow associated with the picking, packing, and delivery of the packed items to a shipping carrier. Routing, the process of determining the optimal path to deliver goods and services. Point of sale, POS data, information collected at the time and place of sale, such as product details, price, and quantity sold. Packaging optimization, the process of designing packaging to minimize costs while protecting the product and meeting sustainability goals. Freight brokerage, the process of matching a shipper's freight with a carrier to transport the goods. Obsolescence, the process of a product becoming outdated or no longer useful. Electronic product code, EPC, a unique identifier for individual objects used in RFID technology. Customs compliance, adhering to all rules and regulations set forth by the country's customs authority. Intermodal transportation, the movement of cargo using multiple modes of transportation, such as rail, ship, and truck, without handling the cargo itself when changing modes. Supplier risk management, the process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks related to supplier relationships. Order management system, OMS, a system that automates and manages the order processing for a business. Containerization, a system of intermodal freight transport using intermodal containers, also called shipping containers and ISO containers. Supply chain analytics, the process of collecting and analyzing data related to supply chain operations to make informed decisions. Logistics service provider, LSP, a company that provides logistics services such as transportation, warehousing, and distribution. Perpetual inventory system, an inventory management method that records the sale or purchase of inventory in real time through the use of computerized systems. E-commerce logistics, the process of delivering products purchased online to customers. Buffer stock, extra inventory kept to reduce the risk of stockouts. Cost to serve, the analysis and understanding of the costs associated with serving different customers, segments, or channels. Supplier scorecard, a tool used to assess and track a supplier's performance over time. Returns management, the process of managing returned goods from receiving to final disposition. Collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment PFR, a concept that aims to enhance supply chain integration by supporting and assisting joint practices. Automated storage and retrieval system, ARS, a type of warehouse technology that automates the process of storing and retrieving products. Total delivered cost, the complete cost to produce and deliver a product to the customer. Third-party procurement, the use of an outside entity to manage procurement functions on behalf of a company. Supplier segmentation, the process of classifying suppliers into categories based on their importance to the business. Value chain, the full range of activities that businesses go through to bring a product or service to their customers. These definitions cover a wide array of topics within supply chain management and should provide a comprehensive understanding of the field. If you find this video helpful, please don't hesitate to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Simple Understanding channel for more helpful videos.